Hey y'all, hey. Okay, so like I said in the last video, I gave Michael Jackson a strand of beads and a letter uh, when I met him at Neverland, right? After I approached the SUV. So little did I know, you do not touch Michael Jackson. You do not touch the king of pop without going unnoticed. Dig it. What I forgot to tell you was that as everyone was running after the SUV and greeting him outside of Neverland after the trial, I forgot to tell you that someone on his team was filming all of us with the video camera. Now, check this out. This was before the age of smartphones. So there wasn't no pulling out your phone and filming Michael, filming what's going on. There wasn't no filming in general. I had a flip phone at the time, but we were not allowed to open them and point them at Michael. We didn't, no flip phones, no cameras, no videos, no nothing, right? You weren't not allowed to do that. So, okay, so I had touched him. I had actually spoken to him and made contact. So, dig it, the next day, as I was going into the trial, I wanted to celebrate. I was so elated that I was able to meet Michael Jackson and give him something. I wanted to celebrate with a cup of the good Mexican hot chocolate that they sold at the cafe across the street, right? So I'm walking to the cafe and I'm away from the crowds, right? Most of the crowds are near the courtrooms. So I hear some footsteps and I turn around. I think someone is following me, and I noticed, guess who's following me? The tallest, finest chocolate man I had ever seen in my life. This dude is about 6'3", and he's fine. Black suit on, very professional looking. He looks like an actor, I think. And so I'm thinking, is this guy following me? So I intentionally drop my notebook on the floor, on the ground, and walk away. Of course, the dude that's following me picks it up and says, "Excuse me, miss, I think this is yours," right? And I'm like, "Oh, thank you." And he's like, "Oh, where are you going?" And I said, "Oh, well, I'm just going across the street to the cafe to get some hot chocolate." And the fine dude says, "Oh, do you mind if I join you? I was going over there to have breakfast anyway." I said, "Sure, why not?" Right. Okay, so we go over to the cafe, we sit down, right? And I introduced myself. I tell him, my name. And I said, "Well, what's your name?" And, he says, he works security and everything. He's worked for Michael and Janet, and I think he said a few other people, right? And so I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool," right? So we're just having breakfast, and then the conversation shifts, and he picks up my finger and he says, "Did your husband let you come all the way out here by yourself?" And I'm thinking, And then for some reason he wanted to know what I'm mixed with. And I said, He asked where I was from. I told him from the Bay Area, blah, blah, blah. And so I turned the questions on him. I said, "Oh, I told him that I'd given Michael a necklace and a letter and blah, blah, blah." And I was so excited to be able to give him something. And then I asked him, I said, "Does Michael like art?" I remember I asked him that question. And then I said, "Does Michael like African art?" Mr. Fine says, "Yes, he has an extensive art collection, blah, blah, blah," right? So I think I said the wrong word, journalist. I said that I was covering this event for a black newspaper back in the Bay Area. It's called City Flight Magazine, right? So I think what happened was the word journalist let Mr. Fine know that I wasn't a crazy fanatic or someone there to intentionally harm or stalk Michael. So he's like, okay. And then I think he realized he couldn't say too much to the media. So we parted that way. And then I went into the courtroom, right? So I remember being seated, and I remember being seated. What's this dude's name?